Jiggy, and Nando. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Waiver Wire Show. Jake, Nando, and you. Drop your comments over there, down there, wherever you so choose. I want to shout out Jock Market for sponsoring the show and allowing us to do what we do. Jake, who's the number one guy in the Waiver Wire this week?
That's such a vague question.
Is it Travis Fulgham or is it Chase Claypool? How about that? Who are you going for?
All right. Well, because there's guys that are still out there, surprisingly, in an amount of leagues, which I don't get, like Chenault, Valdez-Scantling, Deebo Samuel got dropped in way too many leagues. So I would still go.
Are you worried about him? Garoppolo obviously something wrong, and it seems like they're trying to prevent him from aggravating some other part of his body by compensating for the ankle. Are you worried about Deebo Samuel? Yeah. With CJ Beathard as his quarterback, possibly?
No, yes, I still think so. This is now the third time I've made this comparison. I think you'll appreciate it more than anybody because of the baseball side of it. I keep comparing it to a baseball or a pitcher in baseball because they said they were protecting Garoppolo. Here's what you know. When you're a pitcher in baseball, you're 5 runs through the second inning. They pull you, you're fine. Next start, you're going to be out there. Kershaw's out there. Scherzer's out there. It's like
Kershaw's actually been scratched for today's game, Jake.
But point being, everybody's like, oh, it's an off day. He's fine. He's making his next start, right? Garoppolo, football, you can't do that. You can't go into the third quarter and being like, well, Tom Brady has 3 picks and no touchdowns. We're just going to pull him. He's having a bad day, because then you start a quarterback controversy. So how do you excuse it away? And Garoppolo's having a bad day in his first game back from an injury. You say, we're protecting him. So I still think Garoppolo is going to be fine if he's healthy. That's the concern. But he was out there for 50-plus snaps. He had 22% of the targets. Like Deebo, I'm not concerned about. So if all those guys are gone, I'm the same thing I said in the waiver article. I don't care if you want to go Claypool. I appreciate that.
You got a fan. Look at that. Someone's saying something nice about Jake.
It's rare.
That's how you get on the screen.
I like the shoes, the Christmas shoes, whatever's going on over there.
I can't really. How big is your screen, Jake?
I mean, I have a 34-inch screen so I can do my articles and everything else at the same time. I usually have article browser, stat browser, and research browser. So, like, it's just... Anyway, I used to have 2 monitors.
Please, waiver wire. Come on, man.
I'm the one sidetracking us, of course. So if you want to go Claypool over Fulgum, I'm not going to complain. I would go Fulgum over Claypool, and here's my argument why. This is what I said in the waiver column. Fulgum's the number 2 if Deshaun Jackson comes back. Fulgum's number 2 if Jeffrey comes back. Fulgum's number 2. He's the number 2. He's the number 2.
Is he not the number 1? Bull Wolf kind of said he's the number 1.
He's the number 1 as of today.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes back, worst case, he's number 2. Greg Ward would get kicked to number 3. So
I think he could still be number, like Alshon Jeffrey's going to suddenly be the number 1. I don't think so, man.
I said worst case. I didn't say
Jackson's going to be number 1. Shout out T. Rivera and Matt McCarthy.
Thank you. So worst case, Fulgham is the number 2.
All right.
Chase Claypool, if Deontay Johnson is healthy and he's going through a limited practice as of today already on Tuesday, is still the number 3. He is one of the best number 3s, similar to Michael Gallup with the Cowboys, but that's the comparison I made. Michael Gallup's been left out all but 1 game. Chase Claypool has 4 touchdowns. 3 of them have been red zone targets. 0, because I wrote the article this offseason, have been end zone targets. So I'm not saying that he can't get end zone targets. It's just that he's also hitting at a very high level of production, where I just have concerns if all 3 of them are healthy, is he going to be consistent week in and week out? If you want to chase Claypool, because if they were both the number 2, I would give Claypool the edge over Fulgham. But I just don't know that Claypool is the number 2. I think Fulgham, like worst case, is number 3. Claypool, worst case, is Claypool's number 3. Fulgham, number 2.
Here's where my brain is at right now, Jake.
You want me to buy his rookie card?
No, no, you should have already done that. I went to scratch my head and I scratched the thing instead. Somewhere I don't remember who wrote it. If it was a fantasy person, if it was one of our fantasy people, or if it was someone else. Might have been Renee Miller because I edited her last night. Ben Roethlisberger is a 1 wide receiver kind of guy. And maybe this is Mark Cabali, actually. He likes that 1 wide receiver, then works in the tight end. Maybe it was you. Whoever it was this great point.
No, because I think he's a 2 wide receiver guy.
Well, he's had this number one, and then his number 2's kind of just been like this rotating kind of whatever. But Roethlisberger hits that number 1, and he likes him a lot. And, could Chase Claypool be that number 1? It wasn't exactly Juju Smith-Schuster like we were hoping for.
No, but everybody was arguing it was Deontay through the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, and then he got concussed.
And that's the thing. So I don't think this is the year where I think that I could see that point for Antonio Brown for his entire career, but he's also Antonio Brown. And
Sure.
then Juju Smith-Schuster comes around, and it's Juju Smith-Schuster who's also putting up top 12 numbers. And our friend Chris Meany brought up that conversation last year that he was concerned Juju would be able to be a number one with no Antonio Brown. And we didn't really get an answer because Ben was hurt. But so far this season, Juju's not getting the volume. He has 3 touchdowns, but he's not getting volume. Deontay is getting the volume. So I think this is a different team. Like, we see this all the time. We say these players have tendencies. And then, yes, let's say he only has been a one wide receiver guy. Offenses change, players change. So I don't think it's
people change.
People change.
If I can change and you can change,
I don't think people think I can change.
oh, Jake, it's from Rocky IV. Come on, man.
I know.
All right.
I was making it.
I didn't think you were following me.
Did you know they took the robot segment out of the re-release, like the update?
Why?
Because it's too dated at this point. I thought that added to the charm of the scene. Like, that's so corny. Like, why would you take that out? The entire movie's corny.
They took the robot out entirely of
like, if
movie?
you watch it on demand, yeah.
I don't like that, Jakey. Now I've completely lost track. You ruined me. End of
Andy
show.
Dalton?
Thanks everyone for joining us. No, so
Rocky
just
IV.
really quickly, Fulgham versus Claypool. If if you're just playing in a league, 12 teams, PPR, you gotta. Well, you don't have to pick one. I mean, you could skip this week and like keep your number one waiver priority, but.
Well, I think that
you take
Valdez
Fuller,
Scantling.
right?
Valdez Scantling's still out there too. What my recommendation was Valdez Scantling, Travis Fulgham, Chase Claypool,
Right.
put the same bid on all 3, and whichever you get, you get. Because Claypool is probably going to go for the most. You're probably, if you put the same bid in all 3, you're probably going to miss on Claypool. But I think they're all 3 in the same conversation that don't go crazy for Claypool, or even if you want to go crazy for Fulgham, just don't go crazy for any of them.
All right.
And then see which one you get. And all 3 of them should probably have similar inconsistent value going forward.
Where's Andy Dalton going to sit for you in terms of quarterbacks? I know it changes every week. He could be 11 one week and 17 the next, depending on who they're playing. But where does he sit for you, do you think, around when the dust settles?
High-end QB2. And I would put him in the same conversation as Drew Brees, Tom Brady, the ones that don't run, the ones that have to be all on their arm. Mostly, though, I will lean him over Brady and Brees because Brady's got a defense. Brees has some of the defense looked questionable last night, but he's got a defense. What do the Cowboys have? They don't have a defense. So Andy Dalton is probably going to be throwing 40 times a game still with arguably the best trio of wide receivers, although now the Steelers are in this conversation, and a terrific running back. I think that Andy Dalton, we've seen Andy Dalton finish as a top 10 quarterback twice.
Yeah, but you know what? I was looking him up today. I think he has like 210 career touchdown passes and like 118 career interceptions. I think people forgetting that he gets picked a lot.
Yeah. So guess what? Jameis Winston, more offense that you just forced on yourself.
There you go.
And for everybody out there real quick on that, for everybody out there that was saying Andy Dalton loves Michael Gallup, they're just remembering that final drive. He targeted all 3 of them 3 times each.
All right. We just got a sad face emoji on Facebook. I wonder why. I wonder what it was. It's probably about the robot. I guarantee it was about the robot.
I put a sad face for that too. But does that hurt us? Like, don't give us a sad face.
No, I don't think it hurts us. I don't think it hurts right here.
That's a little
Andy
high
Dalton.
for your heart. You know your heart's actually right down here, like here.
Well, Jake, I had to get it on the screen because
but it's under your. It's like under your chesticle area.
All right. Well, here. Okay. What do you want me to do now? Here, Jake. My hands are on my hips. Can you tell?
I mean, you were telling me that I looked like I had a crop top when I did this.
Answer the question, Jake.
Oh, I didn't know you were doing this. It's. What does Minshew have to friggin' do?
I don't know.
That's the end of the that's my answer.
All right, there's your answer.
He's got 20 points in 4 out of 5 games. 20 plus points. He has 1 bad game.
This is from T. Rivera, who called you the GOAT earlier in our show.
Okay.
What do you think, Jake? Herbert's on a bye. Who should you pick up Dalton, Fitzpatrick, or Kirk Cousins?
Dalton.
All right, that was an easy one. Let's go some more questions from Nando. Hold on, I got to figure out how to pull these down. There's so many things here on the left side, Jake. Comments. T. Rivera, thank you for your question.
Let's see who the Cowboys have next week, by the way.
A lot of people are hot on J.D. McKissick. Where are you on that, Jakey? Pass catching back in Washington, new quarterback.
Theo Riddick. That's what I said in the waiver column. He's Theo Riddick. So PPR, RB3 flex.
Theo Riddick's on the practice squad for the Raiders.
No, like the Theo Riddick of the Lions.
Yeah, I got you.
And then RB3 flex. Antonio Gibson's usage has continually been going up. The McKissick's the passing game usage, and you expect a lot of these games to be they're playing from behind. But this week against the Giants, this does not feel like a 16-13 type of game. I wouldn't expect like huge volume against the Giants for McKissick.
Here's an interesting question from Jacob Dechter, Jake.
Fulgham.
What?
Fulgham.
Well, I was going to
It is
say,
a no-brainer.
So, yeah, but you know what? There was a good story today that Stephen Holder did, about, wait, now I'm getting my Holders confused. Our Indianapolis writer. Our Indianapolis writer.
I think it's Stephen Holder.
Yeah, Stephen Holder. Wrote a good story about, with like Phillip Rivers, what's going on. And you kind of feel like the buzz is, Phillip Rivers is kind of lost a little bit, not as good as he used to be. Wouldn't that just turn you into checking down to Nyheim Hines all game, right?
No, because he's not good overall. He already checks down to begin with. And we've seen the inconsistent usage for Hines so far, even with Rivers being checked down. The problem is Brissett was the better quarterback. He just got hurt. Go back and look last year before he got hurt.
Yeah.
One bad game until he got hurt. He had 4 good games out of 5 at the beginning of the season. He was throwing 2 and 3 touchdowns a game, and then he got hurt. Phillip Rivers he's over there with AJ Green. They should be sitting on the bus to retirementville.
No, don't say. Come on, Jakey.
Yes,
you don't mean that.
I do.
Going deep. Jeff Smith has, I think, 19 targets in his last 2 games. He didn't catch a lot the last one. The one before he was all right.
Joe Flacco.
But still, he's getting targeted. Like, you get 10 targets in a game, someone's got to stand up and take notice. And I think he's only rostered in 3% of leagues.
Right.
Is Jeff Smith a target of yours?
No, but he's in the waiver column. He's in deeper leagues, bye weeks. Joe Flacco's not going to help. Maybe Sam Darnold's back. And then you can say, surprisingly enough, that helps Jeff Smith. But Jeff Smith is also temporary. Brashard Perriman comes back and Jeff Smith's getting kicked to the bench.
Is he though? Brashard Perriman to me seems like a deep threat kind of guy, like a Henry Ruggs, like 4 targets, right?
Right, but you have Jamison Crowder. You're not going to bench Perriman when you have Perriman come back, plus you gave him that contract. You didn't give him that contract for him to be a third option, deep play only.
Yeah, but Chris Hogan is high
Chris
ankle
Hogan's
sprained.
nothing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Isn't there room for Jeff Smith to be out there with 3 wide receivers at the same time?
As the third.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And how much is Perriman's going to steal? Like what, 3 or 4 targets maybe? So that's still 6 for Jeff Smith.
No. Jeff Smith's not. I would bet hard under 6 targets per game when Perriman's back.
They're talking about trading Le'Veon Bell again. I just saw that flash across my screen.
Yeah, what are you going to get for him?
I don't know. Draft pick, third, Jake.
You can have my the one that can't fit. You can have my Tasmanian Devil Funko Pop for
your favorite
for
fantasy prop comic, everybody. Jakey.
No, who's giving anything for that contract? Nobody. And then go try and find a team that even makes sense for him to be on.
Yeah, haven't really gone through that yet. Because I feel like we heard this at the start of last year, but I guess now he wants. I don't know. Whatever. Here's a question for you, FF Grinder. PPR. Would you try to buy low on Gallup? A lot of people are thinking that Gallup's going to be the main beneficiary.
I just said that.
Dalton. Yeah. But would you try?
No, I just said that he's not that.
Oh, sorry.
Free people will only remember the last drive and not the fact that when Dalton came in, he targeted them equally. But you can buy low on Gallup because that's a in-game situation where he came in and they went with what they had. We don't know if Dalton likes anybody the most. It might be Gallup. So yes, because people want to drop Gallup right now, you can almost get him for free. So yes, I would absolutely buy low.
I think people are thinking like FF Grinder is that Dalton's going to come in and start throwing to Gallup.
Not everybody.
Right. A lot of people. Here's a good one, Jake. How do you see Titans versus Bills going tonight? And you better say Khalif Raymond 150 yards.
Happening. It's going to happen tonight.
Right.
I mean, how to see it going? Entertaining because it's a Tuesday night game and we have no Thursday night football this week. Yay.
Tell you what, man. I'm working on power rankings of the most intriguing teams in football right now. And the Titans right now, it's going to change, I think, when people come back. But right now, they're like number 1. Because their depth chart at the current moment as we do this is 3 wide receivers, basically. And one of them's got
intriguing as in not necessarily like value, but intriguing.
No, like
story.
Some cool things can happen here. Like the Rams, I find intriguing because of their backfield situation, and you got 2 really talented running backs and Malcolm Brown, who's very, very good, made it to the NFL, but he's not like Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers. That's an intriguing team to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Tasmanian Devil staring into my soul.
We'll put him closer. There you go, Jake.
Say, look at those eyes, just staring into your soul.
Thank you, Trace. He will not. He's with me. We 150 yards or bust for Khalif Raymond tonight.
Yeah, that's the options.
All right, that's it. Because the only. You know what? I do like a Westbrook. I forgot his name.
It'll be Hibbity.
Yeah, he's got he's great guy. You hear about all his charity work that he does.
Yeah, but if AJ Brown's back,
I don't know if he's gonna be.
It sounds everything. The report this morning is he's playing.
Even if he is, Khalif Raymond's number 2.
Okay, but you brought up the Hibbity.
All right. Anyway. You guys are the best, 0-4. And 4th highest scoring team. That's just bad luck, man. That sounds like a 6-7 team to me that gets into the playoffs and does damage.
Sounds like somebody should have read my best scoring settings and played double headers.
He's not the commissioner, though.
He could campaign for it.
Or he might not be.
Double headers. Way to go.
Here's a good question from GT Bin. What is Wentz's upside when and if his wide receivers return healthy? Did you read Bo Wolf's column, Jake?
No.
He said something like Carson Wentz led the league this
like
week.
85 hours. I don't have time to read articles.
Hey, we all do. He said something along the lines of Carson Wentz threw into tight coverage 35.7% of the time this week, which led the entire NFL. It was something like that. It might have been 25, but whatever. His previous 4 weeks were like all in the teens and not very good, maybe lower than that. And his conclusion is Carson Wentz has finally found someone he can throw to in Old Dominion product, Travis Fulgham. And that's why he's so much more comfortable in week 5 throwing into tight coverage.
You know, did you read my column?
No, I don't read your column.
Exactly.
I just come on here and try and get you to say the whole thing.
Yeah, and then I said about Travis Fulgham that's exactly what Carson Wentz has been missing. He's been missing but that doesn't make Carson Wentz all of a sudden good just adding Travis Fulgham. Like if Rager comes back, I don't expect much from Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson was nothing even as the number 1 before he got hurt. I don't know what Alshon Jeffrey has, if anything, left in the tank. So if they get Rager back, they get Goddard back, yeah, sure. I could see him getting back in QB1, but he also has got to finish this stretch. I don't like him against the Ravens, that's for sure.
Sure. Well, I mean, not everyone can be Dwayne Haskins throwing for 300 yards against the Ravens. So,
hey, best chance to win.
Right, Jake? Devontae Booker, anything there? Just only if you have Josh Jacobs on your team, or is this a speculative?
Not even that.
All right.
He'll split with Jalen Richard. They'd probably be like a 60-40 split if something happened to Jacobs.
You think? I remember like last year, it was right at the end. It was like week 17, but wasn't it DeAndre Washington got like all the carries?
Yeah, that's Washington. No, not all of them, but Washington's better all around than Booker.
I think Booker's better than Washington.
I would disagree.
All right. Anyway, Jake, anyone people should consider that we haven't mentioned here, like a deep sleeper on the wire, someone that's, say I got an extra spot, say I got to drop someone on my IR, anyone like, just take a shot with this guy. He might be something in a couple of weeks.
Check the link. I'm looking. I don't know.
I know I got a couple guys who I love.
We updated with depth charts 2 weeks ago, and people still are not noticing the fact that Darnell Mooney's the number 2 for the Bears and not Anthony Miller. So you could go with that one. Mike Williams is the obvious if Keenan Allen is out, but if we do get word that Keenan Allen will miss time, Jalen Guyton would be on your radar. So there's 2. I'm trying to think if there's anybody. I'm scrolling to see if there's anybody else.
Oh, that's good, Jake. It's all right, man. I just thought maybe you got like a little, like another Travis.
Those are 2. And I'll say something I said last week again. Go get these backup running backs before it happens to your team. Like, there's no reason that Alexander Madison should have been out there in over 50% of leagues. That is absurd.
Right. Burn that spot, man. I carried Reggie Bonifon last year for the entire year, just in case something happened to my Christian McCaffrey. And it didn't, but, that spot was reserved for the dude. And look, it happened this year with Mike Davis. They did it. So,
like, here's the question. Are you ever starting Jay
McKissick?
No, let's go back to McKissick. Are you ever starting him? Then if your answer is no, then Madison, Pollard, Brian Hill, Darrell Williams, Giovanni Bernard, Duke Johnson, Chris Thompson. I straight off my article list of potential next men up. Those need to be every single one of them over McKissick if you're never starting McKissick.
All right. That was a very forceful ending. We got to go. We don't have to go, but I mean, we got things to do. I spilled water before this went on. I gotta clean it up.
Go play some Miss Pac-Man.
Nah, not today, Jake. I gotta finish this column on the stock watch.
Go pre-order your iPhone.
Thank you all for joining us. I have a Droid, as you know.
I know, you need to switch over. They just announced it today. You can pre-order. There you go.
I'm gonna get the cheap one, whatever the SE is. I did my
the
research.
iPhone 12 Slim one is only like
because I got $1,100 for a phone.
No, that's what they started. They started cheap. They started cheap this year. What falls in the bathtub? The iPhone thing hasn't been. It's been waterproof for like 5 years now. Get over it.
Fine, Jake. We'll talk about this off air. Thank you, everybody.
Are you going to send me a text message I get in 4 hours because your phone sucks?
That's T-Mobile. That's not the phone. iPhone 12 mini. That's where it's at.
Yeah,
on that note, all right, we'll see. I'll have to take a look at it. If it has a good camera, maybe. Because I like taking pictures. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. We hope you had a lovely time. We hope we were helpful. Good luck with your waiver wire pickups. We'll be back on Thursday. That's a Tasmanian devil. You can buy it on eBay for $2.99 at Jake Seeley on eBay. Well, thank you later, everybody. Bye.